Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk. This time, this is part 2 of our climb up Carding Mill Valley. Behind me you can see the absolute splendour of the valley, the rolling hills that disappear into a mist, and over here we see the splendour that is Harriet.
Oh, I thought you meant to say the frozen stream.
Ahead of us, we're just arriving now to the top of the Long Mynd. You may recall in a previous video we came to the Long Mynd, and actually in real time, that was yesterday.
Yes.
As we record this. It was covered in a sprinkling of snow. It was a little further to the north from where we actually are now,
Yeah.
but it was a very different, dramatically different with the weather and everything. And here we are clambering up to the top of Carding Mill Valley
Misty.
to get the view. Still barren as before and a little bit of frost, but the snow has gone and it's a brighter, more sunnier day.
Yeah.
In the first part of this video, we arrived at the National Trust Carding Mill Valley point, and the aim is to walk to Pole Bank. Tell us about Pole Bank, Harriet, and what it is.
It's a viewing place, really, isn't it? A place where lots of people head for from various parts. They converge
Yes.
at Pole Bank because it gives you
A high
panoramic
point, isn't it? Yes.
high point. 360 degrees of the Shropshire, South Shropshire hills. It's a really good point to aim for in a walk.
Yes, because we can see the hills and stuff to the east of us, but when you get to Pole Bank, which is this way ahead, about 20 minutes walk from where we are, you get to see the other hills all around, including the Stiper Stones.
I was about to say the Stiper Stones.
Corden
yes.
Hill, the perhaps Rodney's Pillar,
Yeah,
and
Earl's Hill.
Earl's Hill, all those sort of things. But what's absolutely fantastic at this moment is we have the brightness of the sun, which just is so rewarding.
It's so lovely.
Because it may not be any warmer, but it does give the impression that spring is on the way.
Yes, with the ice and snow on the ground.
Yes, rather than being in that very cold, bleak, misty day. So what we'll do is we'll carry on walking, and we'll resume a little further up the track. We're just following the Lola.
Yes, we are.
So we'll catch you shortly.
Pheasant.
A little pleasant pheasant.
It's good timing.
We're on our way. Pole Bank is in front of us now, just up the ridge beyond. But before we get to that, there's this little area that we both have been to many times on a walk from the car park that we parked when we did the Long Mynd walk yesterday. And there's a signpost I wanted to have a quick look at here. This is Shooting Box. There's a map here that tells us roughly where we are. Shooting Box is actually a rare bell-shaped barrow, and that's right, it's a barrow which is just in front of us to the right. I couldn't quite remember. It's basically a little ridge there. Of course, this is probably a place where primitive man would be a home to, I suppose, up here away from civilization with the views all over the place. Anyway, if you're into wildlife, it does tell you also that there's the various bits of wildlife here, mainly what looks like a pheasant, is it? Or a grouse? Or
Yes, probably a grouse actually, you're right, yeah.
I'm not very good.
Grouse hunting.
Grouse hunting,
Yeah.
There we are. They probably live in all this terrific heather.
Yeah.
It has gone a bit misty, but down there you get some view of the hills to the west towards Wales. But our destination is up this track to the top of this ridge or mound, and then hopefully we'll see the viewing platform on Pole Bank. I don't know why it gets its name Pole Bank.
No, I don't know either.
It's an interesting name. It's certainly got a bit colder now and a bit more misty
It has.
up here, and the sun is sort of diving in and out of the swirling clouds. But we're okay. The main thing, Harriet, is can we find our way back?
Yeah, well, you said you were paying attention to our route, so I'm fairly confident.
Oh, good. That's great, because in the swirling mist with the heather and everything and the barren nature, it could look very much similar all wherever you go.
Very easy to get lost, actually.
Indeed. There's a little sign here on the footpath that actually says Priory Cottage, which is a bit confusing if you don't know, and I don't know whether that means it's a walk to a Priory Cottage or indeed that there was a Priory Cottage up here. Can't imagine that there would be, but I think what's so interesting about coming up on the Long Mynd here is these little areas that go pootling off to the different sides, so that you know clearly there's a walk right the way down there to tiny villages. You have a friend who lives in a little village down there that runs a pub. What's the name of the pub?
Oh, well, I can't remember, sorry. No idea.
We went
a few years ago,
we went and visited the pub.
Kate is the landlady, Kate Robinson.
Yes.
I can't remember the pub.
Oh. Anyway, we're getting closer to our destination.
It's brightening up a bit now.
It is definitely brightening up, and we're getting clearer views.
Yes.
Which is great, although still a bit misty. But I think our destination for Pole Bank now is up on this ridge. It's always a further ridge than you think.
Yes.
Just one more little bit. We've been walking in total, just over an hour?
Yeah.
And finally now, ladies and gentlemen, we've managed to get up to Pole Bank. And here it is. It's the sun has just come out as well, which is superb. And the pole, if it is a pole of anything, is this little stone circular thing with a viewing map, I guess you'd call it, where from beyond you can see all the different hills, and they're all marked out. This is looking now towards Wales, and in the far distance I believe that's Cadair Idris, according to the viewer.
The stiper stones which you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Over there with Devil's Chair, which is part of the stiper stones. And then we've got, thinking where else, we've got Oswestry over that way.
Right.
And then back home towards Shrewsbury.
Well, away we came.
Over there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Closely you've got Lawley and the Caradoc, and then further back is Wolverhampton.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we take just a little stroll down here, Harriet.
Okay.
Well, whilst Lola is attacking the man with his dog, we've managed to come up here. It's been a lovely walk. We've enjoyed it immensely.
Fantastic, yeah.
We certainly recommend, if you get the chance, to come up and see this. If we just turn around with this in the background. And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again on the next one. Until that, from Harriet and I, goodbye.